Hello, book family. Welcome back to Paperbacks and Ponytails. I'm Katie. If you're new here, welcome. And I hope you will think about subscribing and liking this video, as I'm new to the BookTube family and I'm just excited to be here and having so much fun with you all. So if you couldn't tell by the title of the video, today is going to be a middle grade recommendation video. And this is like my top of the top, what I've read throughout my entire life pretty much. A couple I haven't read in a while, but I will still recommend them because they are still near and dear to my heart and will always be a favorite. So most of these will be fairly, probably never heard of them before books. And a couple are more popular and you know about them. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a few physical copies and then I will tell you over here about a few that I don't have physical copies for. Here's a little pile. I'm excited. Some standalones and some series, as I haven't read a lot of middle grades lately, so I couldn't do like two separate videos, one for standalones, one for series. So let me go ahead and get comfortable here. A little more comfortable. Okay. The first book that I want to talk about is, well, a series. And they come in collections, or they can come separate, which I like. So these are by Gail Carson Levine, and she is a Christian fiction writer for middle grade and children, and they are just so cute. And they're not technically like Christian faith-based, but I do know that she is a Christian author because she writes romance as well for adults. But these are so cute. The Princess Tales, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I will try to link down all the books that I show you down below. I do know that one is hard to find, so you might only be able to find it on eBay, but these are cute. Let me see if I can find the title. So this one has The Fairy's Mistake, The Princess Test, and Princess Sonora and the Long Sleep. Very cute. So I've recently reread this one. I'm going to reread this one next year. So this one is Cinderella's and the Glass Hill, For Biddle's Sake, and The Fairy's Return. So they're all different fairy tales. They're all kind of like that classic fairy tale, like Grimm's fairy tale, but not that gruesome. Like there's some like ew parts, but like fun ew parts. So I'm not going to share too much. I don't want to spoil it, but it says, once upon a time, a kind sister and a cruel one. A charming prince, a spiteful fairy, 100-year snooze, a pea under a pile of mattresses, a kiss. All the familiar ingredients, but why is the punished sister happy? Where did that extra prince come from? And what does a flock of balding sheep or a fleck of tuna and a chocolate cake have to do with anything? So, very, very sounding cute. Sorry, I had to pause the video for a second. Okay. But all of them are fun, all of them are wacky, and just, they're so much fun. I think any kid would like these books. They're just really cute, and they're like kind of like a twist, like you wouldn't see it coming, like a vengeful fairy. Like most of the time fairies are usually nice, or they're like definitely evil fairy, you know, not like a vengeful fairy that they're just so cute. I love them both. They're so much fun. Okay, the next book that I want to talk about is the Chronicles of Narnia. So everybody pretty much knows this series by C.S. Lewis. I love them. So if you only read like The Lion and the Witch and the Wardrobe, I recommend you read all of them. They are so entertaining. I love them all. They definitely have a lot of Christian values in them, but it's not in your face. Like you can definitely read them with any kid out there and they're just going to love them. I think they're so much fun. So I have heard that The Magician's Nephew is technically the way he wanted them to read that one first, but it was never published that way. But I still like to read the Chronicles of Narnia first. Like to me, that's always been the first book because that's the way it was originally published. So that's the way I read them, is to start with the Chronicles of Narnia and work my way forward. But you can read them however you want. It's just about these kids. There's a couple different groups of kids. I believe there's 2 groups. No, 3 groups actually. So the first book we follow Lucy and her siblings as they travel into a magical realm called Narnia. and that's where they meet Aslan and the Wicked Witch. It is super fun, super entertaining. Like, honestly, growing up when I was little, the book The Magician's Nephew scared me. Like, not super, like, it's not terrifying. It's just some of the parts, like, if I picture things like in the movie in my head, so they were a little bit like, oh, I'm gonna put this book down until I'm a little bit older. But they are all enjoyable, and The Magician's Nephew is actually one of my favorites now. I absolutely love it. All of them, like, 5 stars across the board. You know, I think the only one I didn't give 5 stars would probably be The Horse and His Boy, because it's like such a different book compared to the rest. Like, it feels more like a standalone versus like part of the entire series, but they're still all really good. Love them all, including the last one. I was surprised because I think last year was the very first time I read the last book. Like, I don't think I ever read it before. So I did the whole series, and that last book was really good. So the next one I want to talk about is, I have a list down here, that's why I'm looking, is Close to Famous by Joan Bauer. And don't let the cover fool you. It is 5 stars. One of my, hint, one of my top 10 of this year. I read it last month, and it was so good. As I said, I'm not a contemporary fan, but oh, this book is a contemporary dream. I loved it. So it's about a girl and her mother who are on the run from her boyfriend, where they end up in a small little town. This is a girl who loves to bake, and she bakes into other people's hearts, and they just love her baking. But she has dyslexia, so she has a problem with reading, and she finds it very hard to read, and she had a hard time in school. So when she meets a kind of supposedly cranky older lady there, they kind of help each other out, and it's just a really adorable story. I love it. As I said, don't let the cover fool you, because it is so good. So good. Okay, so the next one I want to talk about is Pippi Longstocking. And I plan on reading the entire series next year. I read the first book. I think I read the first 2 in the past when I was little, but this is the first time I will be reading all of them. I think there's like between 6 and 8 books, which shocked me. But it is by Astrid Lindgren, and they are what's the word when they're transcribed into English from another language. Whatever that's called. For some reason I can't remember. Anyway, so if you need a book that was in a different language, translated to English, Pippi Longstocking series is a great series to finish if it's on a challenge where you have to read a book like that. So it's a great young kid age book. It's about Pippi, who she lives alone next door to these 2 kids and their parents, and she is just this crazy, wacky kid that, like, she does everything out of the norm. She doesn't act normal. She's fun. She's goofy. She's invited to a tea party, and things go crazy and wacky, and she's trying to act like proper and classy, but it's just not in her style, and it's fun, and it's goofy. They go on treasure hunts, finding like a pen or a paperclip and stuff like that, and she's all excited over finding these just fun little things, and it's just a cute story. She has a monkey and a horse for a friend, and it's just, oh, it's so cute. It's one of my favorite books now. I absolutely love it. Okay, the next books I want to talk about are the Mandy series by Lois Gladys Leopard, and this is another Christian author, but it is a children's series, and I don't think she really mentions a lot about God and stuff in these books, but I know she does in her older books, I believe. Oh, it actually is published by Bethany House, which is a Christian publisher. Okay, so, but I plan on reading all of these as well, because I want to reread these. I think I read about 12 to 15 of the books. There's like 30 in this series, but they're short. This is like a whole collection. My father gave these to me actually when I was little, and I've kept this collection throughout my life. I will not get rid of these ever. But I plan on hopefully buying the entire series at some point. So I'm going to show you a couple of the covers, but they're just about a grown girl and coming of age story. I do know she has college days as well when she's older. But it's kind of like Nancy Drew almost. So she solves mysteries. She's younger than Nancy Drew. I believe she's about 12. But she has a Native American uncle, Uncle Ned, who helps her out in a lot of her mysteries, and it's just a very cute series. Definitely recommend it for fans of Nancy Drew, Trixie Belden, and all like the kind of the mystery style books. These are perfect for someone who loves mysteries. Seeing a bird fly outside, sorry. Okay, the next books that I want to talk about is The Beast and the Bethany by Jack Meggitt Phillips. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But it is fun. There is a second book coming out. Oh, I'm so excited. It's a newer book. And so he's coming out with a sequel, and I'm very excited about it. So The Beast in the Bethany, it's fun. It's crazy. That cover is so cute. But it is about a man who has a creature in his attic. And he feeds it stuff like furniture and birds and just pretty much anything the creature wants. But one day the creature wants a girl. And so this is about him trying to find a girl to feed the creature. And it's great. It's so much fun. It's really fun. And I honestly, at the ending, I was like, oh, there has to be a second book. Like that ending. And there has to be a second book. And there is. So I will definitely be getting to that next year once it comes out. I'm so excited. Okay. And then the next book that I think I have 3 more on my list. So the next one is Number of the Stars by Lois Lowry. And I read this one this year as well, I think, in the beginning of the year. And it's about a girl who lives in a German family, and they help hide a Jewish girl from the Nazis. And the Jewish girl, she does have brown hair, but her sister, who is no longer with them, her sister actually had brown hair when she was younger. So they had an older picture of the sister, so they're able to hide this Jewish girl in the family. And it's heartbreaking. It's really good. I kind of want to do a reread already, as I kind of don't remember too many of the details, but it's very good. It's kind of like an Anne Frank story, kind of, where she's hiding. I also have to read Anne Frank's diary. I have not read that yet, but I have a feeling it's kind of the similar type books. All right, and then the second to last books I'm going to talk about is the Giver series by Lois Lowry. And I know almost everybody has read this because it's been on so many book lists and everything, but I hadn't until last year. And I really, really enjoyed them. And I actually helped a lot of people find out that it is not just one book. I believe it's 4. And I read them all. And I enjoyed all of them so much. And they do kind of follow different storylines in each of the books until like the last book where they all connect. And it's really fun. It is one of the very first kind of like sci-fi middle grade books out there. So, or dystopian, not sci-fi, dystopian books out there. So it's one of the very first ones. It just talks about this society where they each get assigned a job, and this one kid gets a job where they're like, what is that? What are you going to be doing? And so he's working for the Giver, and he has a specific job in the community to help everyone out. So it's very entertaining. I did really like it. I watched the movie. I do recommend watching the movie as well as reading the book, because both are very different, and so I like to see the different aspects of each one. Okay, the last series that I want to talk about is my absolute favorite. It probably tops Chronicles of Narnia, just barely. They're probably tied. And this is another Christian fiction trilogy, and they're hard to find. As I said, you could probably only find them on eBay. You can find the first book, though, on Amazon. I looked a couple of weeks ago, I think. But it is the Journey to Juna trilogy, and they are my favorite books of all time for middle grade. Like, they are so good. They're by Kim V. Engelman. The first book is Your Journey to Juna. Second book is Defenders of Junna, and the third book is The Crown of Junna. And these are kind of a little bit like Chronicles of Narnia, but instead of Aslan the lion as portraying like as a symbol of Jesus, it is a swan symbolizing Jesus. And it is just so, these are so good and so entertaining. Lots of action involved in these books. But it's about a swan who visits these children and tells them, I need help. I need help because Junna is like kind of Narnia. Junna is being attacked and I need your help to rescue these swans and bring them to Junna. So they are so good. I honestly, I can't tell you how much I love these books, but they're about Margaret, Ryan, and Greg, and Heather joins them later on. But these books, like it talks about, there is a person in here who does bully these children, and she's part of the cast as well. I love her storyline as well. She has a great story to tell in the second and third books. So these books are just highly entertaining. They're really beautifully written. I honestly wish she wrote more books because I would read them all. I would read them all. I wish she wrote more in this series because I would read them all. But yeah, so if I had to pick an absolute favorite, these ones for sure would be my favorite. So that is all of my top favorite middle grade books of all time. I hope you do like find some that you're interested in. Let me know if you've read any of these down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions of them. And if they're different than mine, I totally understand that and we can still be friends. So I hope you all have a wonderful day and I will see you all in the next video.